Hey, everybody. Welcome to another J6 Patriot News interview. I'm privileged today to be sitting here with Andrew Johnson, who is a J6 defendant. He's still in the process here. He's been through the first part of the meat grinder. He's fixing to go back to DC and experience some more. And I wanted to have him on today to kind of explain some of his background and exactly what's been happening to him. It's just a story you guys have probably heard a couple of times, but it gets different every time. There's something unique. Each of these puts a piece of the puzzle a little bit closer to having the full picture. So thanks for coming on today, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Tell me a little bit about J6. You went with family, I understand.
I went with my uncle, my brother, and 2 friends.
Awesome. And what did you feel? I asked this question because I wish I could have been there. What did it feel like to be in that crowd?
I've never felt more unity and love or alive than that day. And I'm not even, I used to think protests were a waste of time. They were something that I would have never done. But when we got there, the energy there was not, let's crush the government. Let's be violent. It was, we're all going to stand peacefully. We're all going to voice our opinion and exercise our First Amendment right to assemble. Nobody that you even talked to in the crowd was there for anything even remotely violent.
And I like to put a label on that emotion. I call it patriotism.
Yeah.
And there was so much of it that day. I mean, you guys have heard it over and over again in our interviews. We went there because we felt we were called by the nation. We felt we were called by God. We had a reason for being there that was more important than who we were individually. And I guess that really rings more true as you begin to face the consequences, the unlawful consequences of being there that day.
Yeah.
You're one of the first people who got snapped up. In fact, you were snapped up that day.
I think I'm the only one that was arrested twice over January 6th.
Twice. I want to say double jeopardy, but it's not even funny anymore. So tell us a little bit about the first time you got nabbed.
So when they cleared out the West Terrace, they gassed everybody. For maybe 2 hours, we were backpedaling in front of the riot police, just protesting. I had a speaker, was playing music. There was a group of people that were nonviolent, and they ended up pushing us into the parking lot. Nobody even knew we were still on the grounds. We weren't told that we were. We were told, go home, there's a curfew. So then the protest became, you're not going to tell me to go home.
Right. A little resistance.
Curfews are unconstitutional, in my opinion. So they kettled us. They told us to leave. There's footage of me actually talking to the police officer in front. They closed the loop end. They kettled about, I think it was about 50 or 60 of us before they put us on the mass arrest bus. And they told us to leave, but then when we tried to leave, they told us we couldn't leave the circle.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked, there's video of me asking the police officer, am I being detained? He says, no. I said, am I under arrest? He said, no.
But you can't leave.
I said, am I free to go? He said, no.
No.
Fox News starts yelling at him saying, this kid's right. If you're not going to arrest or detain him, you got to let him go. I asked him 3 times. And after that, they started going around with zip ties and threw us on the bus.
So there were, for those of you who aren't aware, there were quite a few people that day that were either arrested at the Capitol or in the Capitol grounds on the very day of the protest. Unlike many of them weeks later had to knock on the door or the door come flying in off its hinges. So this was a little bit different. How many people did you see when you were arrested? You weren't taken to a police station?
No, it was a police academy.
You were taken to a police academy.
And I was blindfolded the whole way there.
So they hooded you pretty much.
By the gaiter I had on my neck. They pulled it over there's footage of it on it. If you go to Deer Society 333 on YouTube, you could find it. Ripped it right up my face, and I rode about an hour on the mass arrest bus blindfolded.
Blindfolded. So any of you guys ever watch, you know, SEAL Team or any of these other shows where they grab a terrorist and they throw a black hood on his head? Well, if you're an American citizen, that's what's coming for you if you disagree with your government. This is Stasi kind of tactics and behavior. It's nothing any of us should ever accept from law enforcement in America. Certainly nothing that should be levered against us for exercising our constitutional rights. And again, even though the DC courts won't let us use 1A as a defense for why you were there that day, the founding fathers put that amendment in the front for a very specific reason. It is the most powerful and the most precious of our rights, is to be able to speak and think as we will. And it seems that that's no longer acceptable in this regime, but we hope the next regime will turn that around. What's happening to you? So you got nabbed for curfew that first time.
Yep.
But what happened after that? I mean, you basically would have thought, okay, I got curfew. I'm going to, you know, pay my fines and everything, because that's what you get for curfew is fines.
Well, there was 2 lines in the police academy when they were sending people either to lock up, and there was a line of people that were paying $25, which is the curfew violation, and walking out the door free.
Okay.
I asked the officer there, I said, why are we in this line and they're in that line? He said, well, I think it's guilty by association.
Oh, the Group W bench. Everybody remember Alice's Restaurant, and you know, you on the Group W bench with all the bad people because, you know,
Yep.
you were picking up garbage.
I believe it stems from my check-in though.
Okay.
There were what I believe to be 4 FBI agents, with which the doorman from the hotel across from the Capitol kind of let me know with his nod that they were when I asked them. I think they were casing people coming in. They were kind of putting them in a category.
Yep. And they were
So-
plainclothes.
Yep, plain clothes. Trump-
FBI in the crowd, plainclothes.